Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've been here behind the camera and it feels really good. I've been a little busy working in my yard and going on vacation, and so I'm glad to finally be back. I took a little break in July. So I'm going to start out with reviewing the fall collections. I have the OPI fall collection review for you guys today. It's a big Zodiac energy collection. It's interesting. At least in my opinion. So there's 12 polishes, and I'm going to read a little blurb here about the collection. So what does it mean to have big Zodiac energy? It means celebrating your star quality. So I can see why all of these are glitters and shimmers, and they all are. There's no creams in this collection. You're unique, you shine, you harness celestial magic to make your mark. Now you can use your sign to unlock your creativity. Dreamy and dazzling, vivid and vibrant, mystical and mesmerizing. Whether you're representing fire, water, air, or earth, you deserve to feel in your element. Dial up the cosmic contrast and start catching glances. Create a statement that's out of this world. So I do find it interesting on their site. They have a little blurb, kind of like reading your zodiac, but I think it's kind of cute because there's 12 polishes and there's 12 zodiacs. And so you can go in there and read what your zodiac is and what polish is yours. So I think that's really fun, and I really love the idea behind this collection. So I can see why they made these all sparkly, but for my liking, I really love creams in the fall. That's really when I crave creams. Okay, I crave creams all the time, but especially in the fall, I look forward to some nice, rich creams. And there's not any in this collection. There are a few that I liked, and so you'll have to just watch my review. I did comparisons for all of these. These are available now at Beyond Polish. You can use my code GOLARI10 for a discount on that as well. Thank you so much for those who shop off my link. I really appreciate it. So the names have each of them on there, so they're probably easy to find, but it might be fun to get on this website and look what they have on there about your zodiac sign. Okay, let's get into the polishes and talk about them. I'm going to start out and go from like lightest to darkest. The thing I liked about these is they were pretty quick to swatch, most of them, except for the pearly ones. The glittery ones, they dry so fast. It was so nice. I could do one coat, wait about 30 seconds, and do another coat. And so I liked that they went on really fast. So the formulas were pretty good. There are some sheer ones, and I'll talk about which ones are sheer as we get into each one. I'm going to start with Gemini and I like all the names for these. I think it's fun how they incorporated the name in them. And this is a really nice pearly shimmery shade, and it's kind of a champagne color, maybe a little more pink leaning, but I like the color tone quite a bit. On the nail it looks a little lighter and more off-white because the glitter in here, the shimmer, is more of a white and the base is more of a pinky cream, so it doesn't look exactly peachy pink on the nails. But this one has an okay formula. I would say 3 coats for this one. It's sheer so the shimmer can shine through. This one builds up quite nicely. I do think I did 3 coats for the picture swatch. It just, when it dried down, it definitely needed at least one more light coat. And I did do comparisons for this one, so let's get into those. So I compared it to SE Imported Bubbly, and that one's very similar in the color, but that one's just a pearl. It doesn't have that glitter, so the color will probably be a little bit darker. And Gemini and I, even though in the bottle they look exactly the same, they'll look a little bit different on the nail because the glitter makes it a little bit more of a white. And then Snow Glad I Met You from OPI and Dancing Keeps Me on My Toes. Snow Glad I Met You is a yellow cream shade with less glitter, and Dancing Keeps Me on My Toes is kind of close but more white. So I don't have any OPIs that are exactly like this. I don't feel like this is like super original though. I feel like a lot of the polishes in their ballet collection years and years ago, I don't have all of them, but I'm assuming 1 or 2 might be like this. Or they also, a long time ago, OPI used to do like a nude collection. Am I remembering that right? So I never really picked those up back in the day, so it might be close to some of those. I know they have some kind of like this, but I just don't have one in my collection. I thought it was nice. I don't really wear these kind of colors though, but if you like these lighter glittery ones, then you probably will like this one, but you might have something similar to it. And then we have Virgos, and this one's really interesting. It has a sheer base, and the base is kind of a reddish brown, and then it has a really strong iridescent shimmer in there, shifting from gold to like burgundy. It's really pretty, and it definitely makes me think of autumn when I look at this in the bottle. It is really close to my skin tone though, so I didn't really love it so much on the nail. That green shimmer, it's kind of a greenish gold shimmer. Shines through a little bit, but not a ton. It's not like super strong. So this one's kind of interesting. I did prefer 3 coats on this one as well. The base is quite sheer on it. Not one of my favorites, but a very autumn shade, at least in my opinion. So let's look at comparisons. I don't really have anything like this, but I'll show you what I put up here and what it reminded me of. So I compared it to Orly Touch of Magic. That's a similar shade, but that one also has a berry shimmer that's very strong. So once you paint it on the nail, it looks very berry just because of that shimmer, but in the bottle they looked quite similar. And then Made It to 7th Hill was the closest one that I could find, at least in my collection. I don't have all their shimmery colors, and that one's more of a brown pearly shade. There's no green or gold flash in that one. And then Mystic Dawn, I don't know why it reminded me of that one, but I actually really like that one. It's more sheer than I remember though, but I wanted to put it next to this one that's like a sheer nude, but it has like a blue shimmer in it. And if you're gonna get a color kind of like this, I don't know, I feel like that one I liked a little bit more than this one, but they're also really different, so I didn't really have one to compare to this one. Colors like Penny Talk from SE are going to be more copper, and so I like that this one's unique, and I like that this one feels more autumn because I like the collections to be typical for what they would be in that season, because that's what I look forward to. So that's what I liked about this one, but I can't find myself wearing or reaching for this one either. But you guys might like it. I think if I was more pale, I'd probably like it because I don't like nude shades close to my skin tone. Next we have Taurus Me, and I like that name. I think it's super cute. And this is a green glitter. They've been coming out with so many of these glitters, you guys. And last year at Christmas time, they came out with some green glitters, and they have another darker green glitter in here too. And so I'll talk about that next probably. But just to show you, this one's quite like a lime green, and this one's like a darker green with some iridescent shift in there. So this one also has kind of a sheer green base, and it has some green and gold shimmer in there. I feel like some of the pieces are bigger than other pieces. Yeah, like I wasn't making this up. Yesterday I saw like an iridescent, like a flaky chunk that wasn't perfectly circular, and then I couldn't find it the other day. I was like, oh, I'm just seeing things. But no, there's a few in there, like few sporadic pieces that are a little bit bigger, and I kind of like that in a glitter. I think it's kind of fun just to have the sporadic ones stand out. So I like that about it, but it is kind of sheer. I think you could maybe get away with 2, but I would say 3 is more what I would like to do, just to get it as opaque as I want. And actually in my notes I just looked, I circled 3 coats, so I would say for sure 3 for this one. So let's look at those comparisons, because like I mentioned, Essie and OPI and Orly all came out with a lot of greens last year, which I really liked quite a bit. I feel like this one's a little warmer in those, but let's investigate and look at those comparisons. So I compared it to Head to Mistletoe, and I definitely prefer that. This is like a 1 coat wow, and it does have those kind of bigger gold glitter pieces in there, which I like. And so if you're gonna get one like this, I would get that one. The formula is just so nice. I definitely feel like it is a Christmas color. I would not be wearing this in the fall, but I am pretty traditional that way because I look forward to the seasons, and I look forward to nail polish seasons, and so I definitely try to stick to what I like in that season, but you don't have to. So I do feel like this has kind of a Christmassy feel. Okay, back to the comparison. So I compared it also to China Glaze Famous for sure, and that one's more pearly, similar tone, and that one's slightly metallic though. I think that one's okay. And then Orly Urban Landscape is cooler and more blue leaning. This one's a little bit different. It's kind of a lime green. I would say this is more spring summer. I don't know, just weird for me to think of this color in fall, but I can see how it goes along with the Zodiac. This is the darker green, and it's Fillin Capricorny, and yeah, Capricorny, super cute name. And I like this one a little better. I did, after I put this on, I was like, oh, this does actually have an autumn feel, even though I kind of got a Christmas vibe from it just looking at the bottle. It has a darker green base, and then it has some gold shimmers in here, and it also has golden and purple and maybe even some blue flakes in there. Anyway, I am not good at describing glitters. You guys know this. I don't have like a ton of experience with them, but hopefully the swatch and the picture will give you an idea of what it is. And these always show up a little bit lighter on the nail than they do in the bottle, just because the shimmer's a little bit lighter and it reflects the light. I like this one more than I thought I would. I prefer 3 coats with this one for full opacity. I put a star by it, and so I liked that it was kind of a neutral green. It was really muted, and I can see me wearing this in the fall. So this is one that I might reach for. I always say that though, and I usually don't even tend to reach for any glitters at all, but I liked it when I had it on. I kept going like this and being like, oh yeah, I think I do like this. So I'll let you decide if you want to get this one or not. Let's look at the comparisons. I compared it to Decked to the Pines. So this one's closer to those ones that were released last year. Well, at least that. So that one's cool toned as well, which I definitely prefer. So I feel like with the cool tone, that's more Christmassy for me, and maybe these warmer greens are more fall, but maybe I'm overthinking it. Anyway, that one has no shimmer and is more of a metallic pearl. Orly Faux Fur is darker and more yellow green, and then China Glaze Little Green Invaders is more yellow. So this is a good one. I'll let you decide if you wanted to get it or not. And then we have Pisces the Future. This is my zodiac sign. This one is a really soft blue, and it has an iridescent shift from like green to purple, and it's definitely a pearly shade. There's no shimmer in here. It's kind of just more of a metallic, but it's a really soft metallic, and it's kind of pastel and mysterious and definitely mermaid. I definitely got mermaid vibes. So I kind of felt like this one was more of a summery color, but I think it would be cool to wear this in the fall. I do like to wear blues in the fall at times, so maybe I'll try it, but I definitely look at it and think summer and the pool. So this one does have a pretty good formula. I would say 2 to 3 coats depending on how you apply it. I think I did 2 and got away with 2 pretty well. But let's get into the comparisons for this one. So I compared it to Main Attraction, and that's very similar and a little darker, but no purple shift. And then Pigment of My Imagination is different, and so is Yay Space. I feel like this is original to OPI, and I think it's kind of fun, and I'd probably wear it in the summer. Let me know if you think you'll get this one, because I do find it very interesting on the nail, and I like that it was soft and kind of neutral, but yet kind of fun. Do you think you'll get it? I'm trying to be positive, even though I'm kind of like, ugh, about this collection. I just really want my fall creams. Other collections will hopefully give that to me. I know that they've got to kind of reach lots of different consumers. The next one is I Can Certainly Shine. Really hard to break that up. But this is a very Wow Pal holographic polish. It's very, very interesting, and I thought it was very cool, although I know I'm not going to wear it. So it is more pow, and I'll show you in the comparison hollows that OPI has been coming out with, and I really liked when they came out with a couple years ago, but I never really wore it, even though I like it. But this one's really interesting. You look at it and it's almost like the glitter pieces are kind of flat, or they look just like solid color. I don't know how to describe that, but it's pretty cool. It builds up really nicely in 2. You might want to do a light 3rd layer, but I thought with all of the distraction going on, if it was a tiny bit patchy in areas, you couldn't really tell because there's just so much on the nail. So I think you could totally get away with 2. But let's talk about the comparisons for this one. I compared it to Champagne for Breakfast. That one is a little bit different, but these are all the OPIs that I have that are the closest. Then I have Go Big or Go Chrome, and that's definitely more of like a glittery chrome. And the one I really wanted to compare it to, it was Tinker Thinker Winker, and that one is a holographic, but it definitely is not as pow as this one. So this one's actually really cool, and if you like holographic polishes, you're probably gonna like this one. I kind of feel like this is more of a Christmassy shade too, but I can see how it goes along with the Zodiac energy idea, and so it's definitely starry. Then we have the Lee one, a sheer yellow brown base, and then it has this strong goldeny green shift in there. It's really interesting. It's really different. I don't know if that green's going to show up here. Hopefully it shows up on my live swatch, but it was kind of hard to capture it in my picture as well. And I'm hoping that when I get down to edit the pictures that it really does show up, because it's a lot more green leaning than you think. And maybe you'll see that as we get into the comparisons, how different it is to the other ones. But it's kind of like, ugh. I do not like colors like this, but I know there's people out there that do, but I just do not. And I do feel like this one is more fallish, with it being kind of a green tone, so I can see that with this. Really interesting shades. Let's quickly look at those comparisons that I have. I compared it to Zest Has Yet to Come, and then I have this gold Slays Me and Sleigh Bells Bring, and you can see that this one definitely is more of that green yellow shade. Zest Has Yet to Come is more gold leaning, but it also is kind of yellow, and it's fully opaque and has a different formula and a different look. So there's nothing really like this, at least that I have, and I think it is new to OPI, and so I like that they're branching out a little bit. But can we branch out with some creams? Maybe you can't. Maybe that's too hard, so they have to go to shimmers now. I was really hoping with this collection that they'd do at least half creams and half shimmers that they've been doing, because I feel like it satisfies each group. And if you're gonna do 12 polishes, then split it up that that way, just so you're making more people happy. But this one, they just did all shimmery, so I can already tell this is not going to be my favorite collection, but there are a few that I'm liking, but this is not one of them. I will not be wearing this. This one's Aquarius Renegade, and it is a beautiful blue. So this is a metallic-y, pearly, shimmery blue. I like it. It's a little bit brighter on the nail than it is in the bottle when I pulled out polishes to do comparisons on. This one's definitely lighter than those that I pulled out, so I think you'll like that about it. I do kind of like brighter blues like this in the fall, and I know a lot of people like to wear these blue shimmery polishes. I have never worn a blue shimmery metallic polish on my nails. I haven't. I mean, I've swatched them, but I've never worn them as a mani. And maybe I'll wear this one because I actually kind of liked it the more that I had it on. But I do kind of have blue undertones sometimes, or purple, so I have to be careful because it can make my hands look dead and blue. So I'll be curious to see how I like this one. I'll probably trial this one out this fall because I do like a pop of blue in the middle of all the like red and oranges and muted colors. I just think it's so fun. This builds up really nicely in 2 coats, and so I liked that about it too. I feel like it had a good formula. And let's look at the comparisons that I have, and hopefully it will give you an idea of where this color is. So I compared it to Turn on the Northern Lights. That one's darker and more metallic and has like a purple shimmer, so it's a little bit different. Russian Navy was really the one that I wanted to pull out, and you'll see that it's kind of the same idea, but Russian Navy is darker, and so I think that this one is like a lighter version of Russian Navy, which I find to be really cool because that's a really nice polish. I know the shimmer in there is a little bit more subtle than it is in this Aquarius Renegade. And then Do You See What I See is more of a lighter color, so that one's quite different. But those really were all the polishes that I had that were comparable to this one. You'll see there's another blue, and there were quite a few that I pulled out to compare to that one because it's a little bit darker. And in fact, I'm going to pull that one out so you guys can see. And this one's a little bit more purple, and it has quite a bit more glitter in there, where this one is more kind of like a shimmer metallic. So let's talk about this one next. This is Scorpio Seduction. So like I said, it's in a blue base, and it has this blue and purple shimmer in there. Yeah, it's a little bit iridescent. It's a little bit shifty. And I think this one's kind of cool. I think a lot of you are going to like this one too. This one also built up really nicely in 2 coats, and it's definitely more sparkly. Okay, so let's look at the comparisons for this one. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm having a hard time coming up with what to say about it. It's just a blue with some glitter. You just want to get into the comparisons. So I compared it to Chopsticks, and can't read my handwriting, but you'll see it there, and that's more of a subtle shimmer, and Give Me Space is cooler toned polish. And then the other one here, I got really tired at the end here, and I cannot, oh, chills are multiplying. It's the same color blue, but no shimmer. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where this fits, but really I couldn't find anything, at least in the OPI line, that was anything like it. And I don't have a lot of colors like this in other lines either, because I don't do a lot of glitters unless they get sent to me. So that's that one. Next we have Filling Liberated. This one looks more of a darker plum, but when you get it on the nail, it's a little bit brighter because it has this kind of brighter pink and purple glitter in it. It's really interesting. When I picked it up though, I was like, man, how many versions of this color can they do? There's a lot of these purpley pinks with like some kind of shimmer in it, but when I pulled them all out for comparisons, they're all different, and you'll see that in a minute. But the formula is pretty good. It does have a sheer base as well. You're going to need 3 coats for sure. Now, one thing I did find that was interesting about this one is this also had, like, just once in a while, it had these bigger flaky chunks, which I thought was kind of cool. So it made me actually like this one. I just think that makes it more interesting. Yes, it does have some irregular ones in there with the glitter, and so they're like little tiny places of interest, which I find cool. And you'll see in the comparisons here that this one is slightly different than the other ones, and this is probably my favorite out of all of them, to be honest with you, even though I don't like glitter, but there's just something fun about it. So I compared it to the Sound of Vibrance, and there's no glitter in that one. It's just kind of more pearly and iridescent as well. And the Samurai Breaks a Nail, and then I sold Crypto. So you can see that those are all a little bit different, even though I was thinking they were all kind of the same. It just seems like every year they've been coming out with like a purpley pink shifting color, but it's a little bit different. Then we have a Kiss My Aries. I think that name's so funny. This is kind of a red orange polish, and it is a little bit metallic, and it has some more golden shimmer in there. I think that's what makes it, or gives off that little bit of orange vibe to it. but the base I feel like is just more red. So this one looks pretty close to some that they have. The formula on this one's really nice. It built up really, really good in 2 coats. I was curious to pull out a few OPIs to see how it compared. So I only have 3 other shimmers that are red like this from OPI, so I was very curious to see how they would compare, and I thought you would be super curious too, so I compared them. Let's look at that. So I compared it to I'm Really an Actress, and that one's more of a hollow. I actually really love that one. The color tone especially, because it's a little bit cooler, and I just lean towards cooler colors. And then I'm Not Really a Waitress is more of a burgundy shade, and those are the 2 that I was really, really curious about. And then I put A Little Guilt Under the Kilt, and that one's closest. It's not exact, but it's probably the closest out of all of them. This one kind of gives me a Christmassy vibe too. Tell me what you guys think. I only wear red at Christmas though, so maybe that's why I relate it to Christmas. I know I'm not going to wear this one because I have put on I'm Not Really a Waitress before, and I just don't like it with my skin tone, and so I don't think I'll like this one either. But I think a lot of you will like that one because I'm Not Really a Waitress is like a huge cult polish, or it was at one time, and so I know a lot of you like colors like this, so let me know if you like colors like this. Okay, last one, and I really like this one. I've saved it for last, and it's called Big Sagittarius Energy. It's really beautiful. It's kind of like a plum. It's kind of like a plum with a golden shimmer in it. And the formula is really nice on this one too. I would say 2 coats for this one. It goes on pretty nicely in 1 coat, but with those metallic polishes, you definitely want to do 2, because even though it's full coverage, it looks kind of thin and you can just see a lot, and it just looks better with 1 more coat, and it just seems to bring out the shimmer a little bit more. So at least do 2 coats, especially with shimmers, even if they are 1 coaters, just because I think it makes them look even better, and adding that glassy top coat is going to make it look even better. Okay, so this one I'm excited about because this totally feels like fall to me. It's something that I think I will wear. Even though OPI has quite a few colors like this one's slightly different, and I'll let you decide what you have. A lot of those polishes that I have that are kind of close to this are quite a bit older though, and a lot of them were like brown or more purple or more red, and so I just compared the 3 that I thought were the closest, and let's look at those right now. So I compared it to Pagoda Blackberry, and that one is definitely the closest. It's a touch more red and a touch lighter, but that's an oldie and goodie, and I really like that one. I haven't worn it for a while. And then Embarcadera is more of a raspberry hollow shade, and then Thank Glog It's Friday. I used to love that polish when it came out. Probably, I think it was probably in like 2014 or 2015, I would guess, would be the time period that I wore all the time, and I lived in Florida, and I just remember loving that in the fall because it made me feel like it was fall, because in Florida it did not feel like fall. So I just remember loving that one so much, and so I like this one too. I just really find that the plum undertones are so nice, and I like the subtle shimmer in it. It's not like too flashy, but it just adds a little extra to it, and I find that it's kind of a more neutral polish when it's like that, and I like those dark neutrals. So this one is a win for me. Okay, so now I'm going to pick my favorites. I'm going to be super picky. I just am, because these are the only 2 that I think I'm going to try. And who knows if I even will. Aquarius Renegade, the blue, and Big Sagittarius Energy is the last plum one that I talked about. And I just think this blue's fun. It totally makes me think of fall, and this makes me think of fall. These make me feel like Christmas time. Maybe this, not. This is more autumny. But these definitely for sure. Christmas time. And these made me feel like spring and summer. I don't know, kind of interesting. But I can see how they went along with the whole theme, and I think the overall theme is super cute, and I like the idea that they use that, and it just makes sense for 12 polishes, so I think that's kind of fun. And lucky you glitter lovers, because you have another collection of full glitters, so I'm so happy for you. Now tell me, glitter lovers, because I know there's some of you here for sure, which ones you're going to be picking up, so others can know which ones you're excited about, because I'm not very exciting in this video. I have to admit, I wasn't very excited about which ones to pick up. So anyway, that's my review. Thanks so much for joining me. It's so good to be back behind the camera again. I will see you in my next review. It should be a fall polish review.